A valley divided two armies. On one side, Israel trembling. On the other, the Philistines shouting. And from their ranks stepped a giant. He stood over 9 feet tall. Armor of bronze covered him. His spear was as thick as a weaver's beam, and his voice shook the ground. "Choose a man," he thundered. "Let him come fight me. If he wins, we will be your servants. But if I win, you will serve us." Day after day, for 40 mornings and 40 evenings, he shouted, and no one dared step forward, until a boy appeared. Not with a sword, not with armor, but with a sling and a stone. But how did the shepherd boy defeat the strongest warrior in the land? Let's rewind. The Philistines were Israel's enemies, strong, proud, and cruel. King Saul led Israel's army, but even he, taller than any man in Israel, hid in fear when the giants mocked them. Every soldier trembled. No one moved. No one believed victory was possible. But far away in Bethlehem, a shepherd named David was tending sheep. He was the youngest of 8 brothers, ignored, overlooked. Yet, while others saw just a boy, God saw a heart that trusted him completely. Out in the fields, David learned courage. When lions came for the sheep, he chased them down. When bears attacked them, he struck them. He played his harp to worship God under the stars. No one else saw, but God did. And soon the boy with the sling would be called into a battle he never asked for. One day, David's father Jesse said, "Take this food to your brothers. See how they are doing in the battle." David obeyed quickly, leaving a sheep in care of another. He reached the camp as soldiers rushed to their battle lines, shouting war cries. Then he heard it. That voice, loud, mocking, defying the God of Israel. Goliath stepped forward again. The men of Israel ran back in terror, but David's eyes narrowed. "Who is this uncircumcised Philistine?" he asked, "that he should defy the armies of the living God?" The soldiers explained the king's promise. Whoever defeats him will win great riches, the king's daughter, and freedom for his family. But David wasn't thinking about rewards. He was thinking about God's honor. David's oldest brother overheard and grew angry. "Why have you come down here? You just want to watch the battle." But David replied simply, "Can't I even speak?" His words spread through the camp until Saul himself heard. David was brought before the king. Saul said, "You are not able to go against this Philistine. You are only a boy, and he has been a warrior since his youth. Your servant has been keeping his father's sheep. When a lion or a bear came and carried off a sheep, I went after it, struck it, and rescued it. The Lord who delivered me from the paw of the lion and the bear will deliver me from this Philistine." Saul looked at the boy, unsure, then finally said, "Go, and the Lord be with you." He offered David his armor, bronze helmet, heavy coat, sword. But when David tried them on, he could barely walk. He shook his head. "I cannot go in this. I am not used to them." So David took them off. Instead, he walked down to the stream. Kneeling, he chose 5 small stones. He placed them in a shepherd's bag, and with a sling in his hand, he walked out alone into the valley. When Goliath saw David, he laughed. "Am I a dog that you come at me with sticks? Come here, and I will feed your flesh to the birds and the beasts. You come against me with sword, spear, and javelin. But I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of Israel, whom you have defiled. Today the Lord will deliver you into my hand. I will strike you down and cut off your head, and the whole world will know that the battle belongs to the Lord." The armies leaned forward, holding their breath. David ran quickly toward the giant. He reached into his bag, pulled out a stone, placed it in a sling, and spun it. The sling whirled through the air. The stone flew straight and true, and it struck the giant in the forehead. The mighty warrior stumbled, then crashed face down to the ground. Silence. Then David ran, took Goliath's own sword, and cut off his head. When the Philistines saw their giant fall, silence froze the valley. Then panic spread like fire through dry grass. Shields clattered, swords dropped, men tripped over each other as they turned to flee. And suddenly, the same Israelite soldiers who had hidden in fear shouted with courage they didn't know they had. The battle cry of Israel rose like thunder. They surged forward, chasing the Philistines all the way to their cities. The ground that once echoed with Goliath's voice now shook with the footsteps of victory. And there, standing with the giant's own sword in his hand, was David, a shepherd boy, the youngest of 8 brothers, the one no one expected. But God had chosen him, not for his strength, not for his size, but for his heart. The story of David and Goliath is not just about a boy and a giant. It's about how God sees what people overlook. Saul saw a boy. Goliath saw weakness. Israel saw defeat. But God saw a warrior of faith. Maybe today people overlook you too. Maybe they see your size, your past, your mistakes, and say you could never win. But giants don't fall by human strength. They fall when we trust the living God. David didn't win because he was fearless. He won because he remembered who fought for him. And so can you. Your giant, whether it's fear, doubt, or something that feels impossible, is never bigger than God. What's the giant you're facing in your life right now? Share it in the comments below, because your story might encourage someone else's faith today. And please don't forget to subscribe, because more cinematic Bible stories are on the way. Next time, a man who was swallowed by a great fish and lived to tell the tale.